shared. Again, I am always very thankful to get a chance to play with you guys, and I really, really do enjoy this little hobby of ours. So it is a pleasure to have you here. Okay, sorry about that. I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. Okay. Once again, for the record, this is City Sins, Season 9, Episode 4, Call It a Family. Chicago defies definition. There are many small parts of the whole that can be easily identified. None of them apply for the totality of what it is, and all of them exemplify a small macrocosm of the city, much like having someone explain what their family is. It's not something easily done, part and parcel because the emotion centers of the mind and the speech centers of the mind are in two different regions. And just like that dichotomy, understanding the kindred of the city is no less fraught with difficulties and understandings made of complete and total illogic. Dizzy and Vivi wage a war against unknown assailants, against a legion or a legion of legions of God knows whom, God knows where, who have set about stalking, following, trailing, and otherwise impugning every aspect of privacy of their victims, using every bit of information they can find, steal, abscond, and otherwise obtain to apply as much pressure as possible to enforce their will, which in most cases has simply been financial. Though no financial threats have been made against Dale, they're easily able to find that Dale is not the only victim. He is not the only person that's fallen to their pernicious attention. And at the same time, Lucio, having finally completed his first hunt, makes his way toward no-bag investigations. The tried and true, the echoes of the past, the memories of his joy at being able to fight the good fight, to speak for those who have no voice, to avenge those who have received no justice. And though now taste of blood coating his tongue and throat takes on a bittersweet bit of vileness as he realizes the ineffective end of it all. Pushing those thoughts away in lieu of the pragmatic and the hope to potentially and possibly at last wreak some real sense of balance, we look toward Hestia speeding across town, heading to Crook's North to meet with their newest associate, the Irish madman himself, person who most recently engaged in a bit of, doing what kindred do, enjoying their own lives at the cost of the world around them, who also happens to be a victim of a foul and pernicious blackmailer. And Melinda, who will not be with us this evening, falls into the company and sway of an elder Tremere. So beginning alphabetically, Dizzy, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your resolve and technology? Your target number is 4.
Alrighty. Is this a phone thing where my specialty would apply?
Yes. The very real fact that Dale's life hangs in the balance because some jackass somewhere along the way has decided that he makes a perfect victim due to his connection and association with others is 100% unconscionable. The roar that escapes Dizzy before she has the opportunity to cover her mouth, lower her head, and bite back is unmistakable. It is unbridled rage, and she only realizes how close to falling off that precipice she is as the cracks appear at the edges of Dale's Palm Pilot as the plastic threatens to give up the ghost beneath her, and the liquid quartz LCD screen shows all the signs of stress fractures around the edges, and Vivi does the unthinkable. Instead of reacting or responding in fear, she interplaces herself between Dizzy, Dale's bed, and her sleeping mother, who snorts and starts but doesn't completely wake up because the noise is not something she's accustomed to or is aware she should be afraid of.
I will take a couple deep unnecessary breaths, count to 10 in my head, and then kind of force myself to blink at Vivi.
There's a nod, and she does the one thing you should never do to a predator: take your eyes off of them. And in doing so, looking at Dizzy's mom and Dale to make sure that they are still as restive and out of it as they could be. There's a moment where it plays out in Dizzy's head with all the vibrancy of sitting in an IMAX theater, her leaping forward and proving to Vivi why that was the most foolish thing she could have done, making herself a target. It'd be so easy. It wouldn't even require that much force or that much speed. Dizzy knows that the 7.5 feet between her and Vivi, nothing more than an eye blink. She can cover that distance without even trying. She could easily shove Vivi across the room. A small rebuke in the grand scheme of things, but enough to show that as trained as Vivi is, as tactically intelligent as she is nothing to the might of an undead. And after all, it's your toy. If you break it, it's okay. It's just when someone else does.
I have nothing but admiration for what you just did, but you realize that if I'd have lost it, you were the one in danger, right?
It's okay, Chica. I could take it.
No. We'll have that conversation another time. Actually, I hope we don't have that conversation another time. Let's just put a pin in that indefinitely.
A pin? Your mom says, finally waking, because the sound of voices is a sound that she is accustomed to. And voices at this hour of the evening usually means one of her children, one of her many rambunctious, far too smart children are in fact doing something that they probably shouldn't. And she sits up, and even as she is still completely out of it, as she's still rousing to full wakefulness, there is that motherly, that matronly understanding of having to seize control of the moment. Did the nurse come in?
Nope, it's been quiet.
This chair is not doing anything for my back. You wouldn't believe the dreams I had. I dreamed about lions and tigers stalking in the darkness. It's like I'm walking through this tall grass like you see on the old Tarzan movies, and you can hear the chimpanzees in the tree all get really quiet. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Would you all like anything? I know they have tea as well. Or do you prefer something else? No, I'm good. Coffee would work very, very good. I think Emily and me are very, very tired. I'll walk with you.
Yeah, I'm good.
When Vivi leaves and your mom head off to find refreshments or something to help soothe them through the night, or more specifically, soothe your mother back to sleep, there's no denying the sheer unbridled power at Dizzy's fingertips. There's no denying that her many years on the road and her survivor traits, even before then, have led her to not fully grasp how completely and mercilessly dangerous she can be. Having such a tight control over herself, stress, not a good thing. And as those thoughts percolate and dance just out of reach, Dale begins struggling to sit up. There's something immediately insulting and inciting and causes the adrenaline to surge about being even lightly intubated. And that's the stress that Dizzy sees all over Dale as he begins struggling for air, even though he's being provided, even though he is being cared for, and everything that's being done is to help him. The shock of waking in that moment causes all of the flight or flight syndrome to take over. The increased pulse, the sweat, the shock and surprise of trying to relegate where one is, even though every movie, every book, every TV series shows a small facsimile of what it's like to be in a hospital. Experiencing it from the bed, something that Dizzy will never have to do. But she's seen on a number of occasions. She knows that panic. She knows that fear. The fact that it's Dale afraid. The fact that it's Dale who is terrified is as close to a bucket of ice water as she can have. Because Dale has always been strong. Even when she met him a few months ago, when it was just them talking, he's always been strong. Always been able to stand up to and carry the weight. In this moment, he is not carrying any weight. The only thing he's carrying is the sense of fear.
Dizzy will stand up, put her hand on his hand, and be like, "You're all right. Just calm down."
His eyes large and attempting to focus, and the hands, which haven't been restrained, go to his face. He's trying to find his glasses, trying to look around, and unfortunately for this, she knows also what's being done. The intubation is being attacked. He's going to grab that cord, and there's nothing more scarring for the esophagus. There's nothing more damaging in the moment than that, because it does in fact scar and tear at the very sensitive structures of the throat.
I will gently stop him from doing that.
Okay, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion, and I'll roll for his. Something in the touch, something in realizing and recognizing Dizzy for who she is, and taking in the surroundings around them. But most importantly, it's about seeing Dizzy. It's about her touch. And even though she's nowhere near as warm as she would be if she still breathed, the added effort of having tempted the beast and rousing the vitae to move through her system, there's a calm that causes his eyes to shrink to their normal size. There's a calm that stops those, for a man of his age and activity level, immense muscles to not fight. There's a calm that eases the fear just far enough out of mind where he can begin mastering himself. And even as panicked as he is, his heart rate still elevated. And even as the signs of fear are still there, the cold sweat brow, the scent that stains the air, there's a calm that slips in, realizes that no matter where he is, Desi's there too. And we shift our gaze to Hestia, who is sliding across town in her most nondescript vehicle, the vehicle that most people don't realize that she actually 100% owns, unlike the others that they've used along the course of their sojourn together. The taste still on her lips, the moments shared still teasing a semblance of joy out of her. It's as close to living as she has been in over 5 decades. And then she arrives at Crooks. It is almost a complete opposite to that feeling. It very much is exactly what the name says it is. And not to view herself as an elitist, it is hard for her to see anyone, including herself, as being moderately good, moderately kind, and anything worse than a risk to the world around them. All of these people in one shape, fashion, or form have lied in the last 24 hours, have stolen, have harmed. She is sure that some of them have potentially even killed. And then she sees his face, Walter, the same semblance of social isolation, the same position of publicly accessible and ignored, and the same hell that someone who is treated as a rock star or a god amongst men should not be able to withstand the weight of. Yet there he is, drink in hand, his windswept hair still looking as if he would be better suited to the bow of a ship, standing. The wind sweeps through his hair, causing his coat to flap behind him, pointing away across a dark and stormy sea, laughing as nature tries to end him and the lives of his entire crew. Though in the now, he's just dressed in a dark overcoat, a purple tie, and matching royal purple shirt, gray slacks, and boots made with loving care and attention, and clearly far older than most people would expect.
It's an odd moment for her, considering where she just left, and then looking at him again, and it's like she's seeing him for the first time. So that flirtatious, odd attraction she might have had to him before is now very much souring. It's kind of like getting a ring and finding out it's cubic zirconia and going, what the hell? So that's that moment of, really? Just looking at him and shaking it off and getting out of the car, because in for a penny, in for a pound, I need this man to help me finish what I was going to finish so that we can find this information. And if he helps me, that's good. If it fizzles, then fine, and whoever's hunting him can have him. I don't know. So she gets out of the car and puts on a smile and walks towards him.
There's a scene in nearly every old Western where the bedraggled or road-weary gunslinger walks into the bar. He stops in the doorway with the swinging doors open and closing just behind him, and everyone stops what they're doing. Even the piano player stops and will either slide the piano out of the way or take off their hat and make themselves as small as possible in the corner. That moment is what Hestia experiences as she steps into Crooks, while the conversations continue for the most part, and while the music doesn't crank to zero. There is that moment where she realizes that most of the eyes are on her, appraising her, taking her in, deciding whether she is as dangerous as most strangers usually are, or worse yet, if she's as dangerous as they are. But not Walter. He, having shared a smile and a nod to the bartender, looks towards her at the door and in front of everyone. Estimations, esteem, and appraisals be damned. There is, there you are, Hestia girl. It's great to see you. Where are your friends?
Things came up, and it's just me tonight.
It's more of a pity, but at least we've got each other. So, what I've been working on these few hours of the evening, it's not that much, but as far as I can understand, it started when I began attempting to diversify my small portfolio into a very much larger portfolio. There's several firms and businesses that I've contracted and contacted, and, well, I think that may be the place where we need to start. Oh, forgive me, my manners. What, will you need a drink?
No, I'm okay. I've had a good amount of drinking already.
Oh, it's just a shame, but always a good thing. One should never start an enterprise on an empty stomach of sorts. So, here's the plan. I've outlined a few of the businesses, and not all of them are that far. You wouldn't believe how easy it is to get across the city if you don't bother with all of the traffic. I think we could walk to the bulk of them, and it'll give us a time to know each other alone in the dark, as it were. One creature of the night to another creature of the night. And are you sure you wouldn't like a bite to eat?
No, I think it's best we get this done.
Fair enough. I suppose you're the boss as far as this stuff goes. Have you found your friend Eddie, by the way? I'd hate to honor the letter of our agreement and not honor the spirit of it.
Well, see, my things are still missing, so I still need them found. Doesn't matter about the person that had them.
Oh, very well. I'll take it that you've found enough information for us to push forward. The first stop, there's a right Slavic business that I thought honestly, that I might pull the rock from underneath them. But they're not that far away. They're a decent firm, but they're all Slavic fellows. Everything sounds as if you're choking on your gob.
Kind of like trying to follow along, but at the same time, it's like, oh, how did I not know this man was full of shit? But just kind of like smiling and nodding. Alright, sure, let's go that way, I guess. Sounds like a good place as any to start.
Excellent. Let me get us a cord. And then leans over the bar, talking to the bartender. Would you be so kind as to order up a livery for us? Let me go in. He tosses out an address. It tickles a faint idea of a memory, but all the same, with Hestia's current disposition towards Nash and her current disposition towards what her evening has been, there's nothing that stands out at least. It's more of the same absolute shit. And it's hard for Hestia to view herself as anything more than humoring him, because there's more than likely nothing he can offer that would not, in fact, cost her more than her investment. And that's a sad thing of it all. Being in the cups, being happily intimated with her evening, being in the circle of association of her coterie, to being wholly the center of attention and focus of this roguish Irish bastard. Someone who lives by their wits and has clearly more than one occasion entered into a situation that they probably shouldn't have been in. And try though she might to shake that feeling, it is an overwhelming, heavy feeling. It's like being smothered by a blanket in the heat of summer. It's like having all the air be wet and heavy, so that every breath is a labored sadness. So as Hestia and Walter head out to get into the cab called by the bartender, we shift gaze. Lucio opens the door as he has several times before during his breathing days. He not only is thankful that Novak is a cheap bastard, but that he is a creature of habit himself. And as much as Spots and Lucio and even Gertrude and Geraldine told him repeatedly that variety helps against surveillance, that variety and switching things up helps to identify people in your shadow, he in fact is very much still a creature of habit. A little more random these days, but still a creature of habit. So those 75 different cigarettes smoked as he walked and paced in front of the door are still there in the ashtray. The newspapers, which are harder to find than almost anything else in the world at this point, are still collected there with today's date on them. So you know that he's keeping his same ritual of getting up from wherever he is and going to the newsstand there in front of the Harold Washington Cultural Center, picking up all of the local newspapers as well as a few of the nationals and reading them as he downs 6 cups of coffee. There's still the bag of dog treats that he keeps keeps replenishing and keeping a few in his pocket for if his investigations or if his activities lead him near dogs, he can make a friend. The thing that is not usual, the thing that is not an echo of the past, are the voices coming from the back dining room of the office, the official client meeting area, the well-worn and splotched linoleum because he refuses to cover the table, standing out garishly against the 4 people in the space with Novak and Spots. Spots looking as if he has been the subject of a overly long interrogation. The stacks of dark brown federal folders with case numbers and minutia written in the edges of it with overstacked, well-used papers, some yellowed showing their age, others new and printed out by inkjets. And the 4 agents dressed in various shades of dark, black, gray, blue, but all dark enough to be seen from a distance as black. Gertrude, not Geraldine, this evening, sitting cups of coffee in front of everyone. And Novak clearly not listening, though if you didn't know him, you wouldn't realize that his I see, was literally him doing his best to hide the fact that he's zoned out. He's already made up his mind as to what he was going to do. He's already decided a course of action, and he's literally just allowing the person to talk themselves out. And Lucio enters. And without a shadow of a doubt, Lucio knows that these people are federal. These people are attempting to put fine print verbally into the contract of hiring Novak, and Novak's avarice having taken over. It's the sheer amount of folders that shocks Lucio more than anything else. And this is here. You guys are just in time. This is my best detective. This is the investigated Darcy. He's our lead field agent I was telling you about. Hey, kid, you're just in time. I didn't think you'd show up for another hour or so. So they've been telling me, and he stands up and stretches, probably for the first time since they've been bombarding them over the last few days. They were just getting to the sweet part. So all of these cases tied to, they believe, this missing girl, Mercer, Honorary, or whatever her name is. Come in. Don't stand on ceremony. Come on, we're already in the middle of the list.
Out of character. That name, does that ring a bell for Lucio? Because I remember a long time ago we were trying to find a missing person as well. And it was a missing girl as well. I think that was back when Cameron was still in the Rotary.
That name specifically does not. However, the Mercer name does. They are well-to-do nouveau riche members of the tech community. Their programs, their apps have been utilized in several different strata of federal databases, federal hard tech, the software that keeps a lot of their programs running. They are wonderkins of that community and have made a mint despite predominantly working with government.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Hey kid, you okay? You look like you seen a ghost. Come on. We gotta get these guys situated enough that they trust us with what we're gonna do for them. And he just absently picks up one of the folders, and you can see the looks of mild distaste from the agents and their bureaucratic mindset as he opens it like he knows what he's talking about. And Lucio's known Novak long enough to know that he literally does. The reason why he tunes out so quickly is because he makes leaps of logic that usually work out to be accurate enough to make his completion rate fairly high. So this one here, this guy is a native of the city, but he does business back and forth between here, Milwaukee, and Indianapolis. So I'm thinking that there's anyway, I don't want to show too much the magic behind the stage, and Novak hands you the file.
And Lucio's gonna look through it.
It's a truck driver. He deals with cartage. He does a circuit up around the lake, not just Milwaukee and Chicago, but he hits nearly every major city on the lake circuit that you can, from Michigan all the way around to Wisconsin and all the way as far south, Cairo, back.
that's all we have on this guy?
Excuse me. And one of the federal bureaucrats stands up. It's clear that they haven't done any real field work. You can tell by their very soft hands, the fact that they are not, in fact, packing any heat, and their shoes are not warm. Most tellingly, because even in the car, it doesn't seem like it, but there's a certain wear and tear that your shoes take. Not nearly as much as actually beating the bushes and being on foot, but there's a use that shows, and there are none. There's no signs of real usage. This is a person that puts on their shoes to sit at a desk. This is a person that doesn't walk much. This is a person that doesn't have to walk much, clearly. Because while every member of their contingent is dressed in various shades of dark suited glory, theirs is well cut, almost tailored. It's not the boxy off the rack. It's not too tight or too loose. There aren't additional spaces between the way their clothing, their jacket drapes over them. They are one of the higher ups the chain. What do you mean? We have certain protocols we like to put in place because these cases. And Lucio looks at the stack again. Would you be so kind? Let's go ahead and roll either a wits and insight or a wits and investigation.
Investigation's probably better. Would missing persons apply for this?
Yes, actually, yes. Yes, it would in this case.
Dice pool is 9. So. What's my current hunger?
1. If Lucio was actually accurately breathing, his breath would catch. It would be that moment of lightning strike. It would be that illustrious leap of illogic that would solve the case, and he'd call everyone into the parlor and explain through the best he actually sees able why he's brilliant. However, in this moment, Lucio is paused and mildly angered. These names, these cases they dovetail into the very cases he was working before he was killed. These cases are cases that he looked into for contributing information. These cases tend to all pertain to or associated with the believed spree killer operating in the Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana areas. These cases should have been solved because Lucio was sure that given more direct focus on his part, he could have at least led the authorities in the right direction to make a break on the case. These cases have nothing to do with a missing person. These are purportedly cold cases at this point, and they are attempting to very much bury the missing person case on Mercer. That makes no sense. There's something larger afoot, and it's almost too much for Lucio to bite his tongue on.
Lucio is going to address the federal agents. I think you heard me quite clearly. Is this all we have on this guy? And as a matter of fact, is this all we have on the girl?
We believe that because of the circumstances surrounding these, that they are associated with Honor Mercer's disappearance. She was last seen in Milwaukee. And then they look at Novak as if to say, are you sure this guy's your best agent? Maybe we need to rethink this. This is your best investigator. In other words, the look of derision is clear. The clear-cut fix is in. They are attempting to bury not only this case in connection with the Mercer case, but bury you all in enough paperwork to say, well, we spent so much on this, we are done.
Look, you came to us because you want this job done and you want it right. That's why I'm coming to you, asking you to be straightforward with me. Is this everything? Because if you're hiding stuff, that's just gonna impede our investigation. I understand that there's classified shit that you don't want people to get a hold of, but we are all very much in the same line of work. From one professional to another, we need everything you have on this.
To be so honest, go ahead and roll your either your charisma intimidation or your charisma and persuasion. Wow.
Can I roll willpower?
Yes.
Hooray.
It is a clear circle the wagons moment as they look to each other and they hem and they haw. And one of the lesser agents begin to speak up, and it's clear that he's not nearly as high in the ranks. His suit is boxy. Not just baggy, but it's also boxy. It is something that you'd find on the clearance rack at Kohl's or at the discounted at Burlington. This is clearly someone lives in a one-room kitchenette with their, probably, based on your best guess, from the small white hairs along the left sleeve of his jacket, hamster or guinea pig. Somewhere where it's just warm enough, doesn't have to wear the 2 socks that he is. It's for comfort. And the lead bureaucrat. We believe no, this is not all that we have. Unfortunately, we can't utilize all of the information that we have as it is connected with a current ongoing investigation into an unsub whose attack pattern we can't predict. An unsub who has ranged and roamed 40 miles from the center of downtown in nearly every direction. 2 weeks ago, one of his victims was found on a small boat at Belmont Marina. 2 weeks before then, his victim was found mostly mutilated, clinging to life, dropped outside of Holy Covenant Hospital. 2 weeks before then, his victim, well, we won't talk about that, but they have been attacking with some regularity every 2 weeks, and their victims are all over, from the height of society to the dregs of society. There's no commonality of victim, except for that nearly every victim that has been found has suffered massive blood loss. Nearly every victim well, needless to say that it's an ongoing investigation, and with the overlap between these missing individuals and the victims found, we are at a loss because Honor Mercer's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Mercer, unfortunately have friends in the government, and they have just enough information pertaining to this spree killer. They believe that she may have been a victim of said unsub. We have investigators currently interviewing a young lady who, well, her family and her friends. There was a pepper spray, mace incident at the Metro. And in the ensuing violence, our victim was found by the police and paramedics who arrived at the scene. She was nearly completely divested of her blood. She was in such a state of shock that initially they thought she was on drugs, that she was too high, or that she was suffering an overdose. It was only once they got her into the ambulance and then to the hospital where she began to seem more coherent. Her blood loss was of such a state that even with 3 transfusions, she died this morning. And unfortunately, this is the week we were worried about, because again, our unsub strikes every 2 weeks, or at least leaves a victim every 2 weeks. And Mercer Arner has been missing for just under a month, meaning that if she is a victim of our unsub, these cases we're hoping will point us towards where we might be able to find her. All of these persons have gone missing. All of these persons have all but disappeared. And there's a running theory that our unsub uses certain victims to practice and certain victims to, well, do whatever it is that he's doing to them.
Are you absolutely sure it's one person?
How many blood draining monsters do you know of, Mr. Darcy?
All I'm saying is, where there's one, there can always be a copycat killer.
We haven't released the information. We haven't released any details to the public. We know that it would cause a fear in the community that may cause overreaction. There's already the rumors of body snatchers and organ harvesters running rampant that we can't tamp down. Last thing we need to do is let the citizens of Illinois know that there's somewhere out there amongst them is a monster who does these things to people, not just women, not just young, but who has no victim profile. It is literally, and then she starts picking up files. A 72-year-old man, an 83-year-old woman, a 22-year-old boy, a 26-year-old woman, and she just goes down and down through the files, and every age is literally all over the board. And the few details that she offers in regards to describing them, there's a sinking suspicion that Lucio has that he is more than aware, more than likely. The ones that have disappeared have more than likely been swallowed up by the blood trade, made to properly disappear, leave a trace, or have volunteered for the blood trade because of whatever's going on in their life that makes them choose, well, death. And the found victims, there's a commonality that Lucio is aware of that the others have not made the connection to. Because after all, they don't know they exist.
Thank you for being honest with me about this. And I know that you want to keep this under wraps because you want to well, exactly what you said. You want to keep this from causing a panic. We'll keep what you said here confidential, but if you really do believe that Mercer and this driver are connected to your killer, if you want to find that killer, then we need to do our part. And that means we need all the information you have on them. Even the classified stuff.
Mr. Darcy, that is a little bit above my pay grade. I will do what I can to provide you everything that I can. Unfortunately, there's a lot of this that is in the hands of skilled investigators that's connected with the other case. We attempted to bring in the behavioral analysis unit. Unfortunately, due to some red tape somewhere up the chain, the best that we can do is there's an order of Marines called the Knights of St. Judas that have sent their investigators to the area. And while we don't like the private orders who get involved, they, for the most part, are actually federal. Very secretive, but they do have their ties to our chain of command, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, we'll do what we can in the meantime.
Mr. Novak, we will continue our debriefing in terms of protocol soon. We'll allow you all to dig in, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. And hopefully it won't take nearly as long as these last 14 hours. And they begin filing out. As the older of them, the gentleman that you had marked as someone who works in the field, exits, he shakes Lucio's hand, slipping something into it and continuing on his way out the door. Kid, you came at the right time. They were absolutely fucking talking my ear off, and I don't want to turn money too much, but oh my God. And Spots is holding his head.
Well, you seem to be in good spirits, boss. Boss, you not so much.
And Spots looks up. Wait till he tells you. Wait till he tells you. Oh, well, yeah, so we have an NDA. Everything we find, we can't act on. We just gotta give it to them. But you will not believe this. They are paying us 5 times what our daily rate is, and I even inflated it. If Lucio wasn't already dead, if Lucio wasn't already well past the point of living and breathing, his heart would stop. There's no way that anyone's paying that money for a cold case. Not even the federal government. You literally are at the opening of some pulpy late 70s criminal thriller with a conspiracy run organization at work. It sounds like every bad 70s thriller you've ever heard of. More money than you can think of, a case that shouldn't be solvable, and yet here they are, establishing protocols, willing to waste Novak's time for over all total 26 hours, 3 days, bombarding him with a bunch of half-truths and near useless information. And you immediately understand why Spots is holding his head.
Boss, I think you picked up on this, but something ain't right about this.
Oh, you tell him. Of course it ain't right, but it's not supposed to be right. Not for that money. Fuck, what fire we got to dance to, or what devil's fiddle is going to be playing in the background music. We literally just hit the lottery, boys. Cheer up. We know it's fucked up. We know it's going to be a lot of dead ends. And we know we don't have to put that much work into it because they really don't want us to do it anyway.
It's hush money. They're giving us hush money, basically. They want us to pretend to investigate this. And not really dig up anything.
Kid, the hush money pays for the real job. We're able to do real work with their real money for their fake case.
You know I don't like that kind of... You know I don't like operating that way.
Well, I understand that. Here's the reason why you get the fake work and do the real job. Just don't get your nose out of joint and just don't piss them off more than you already have. You do their real case for them even though they want the fake one. But what I pay you for your daily rate, come on, this will be a cakewalk. And if you catch a monster, all the better. Then your friend Elijah still good?
I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but last I heard he was on probation. Probably off of that by now.
See, there you go. You slip them a little information. The local boys make the collar. They don't know where it comes from. So, everybody wins. They get their fake job. We get our real money. You get your real justice.
You have a way with words that I have yet to master.
And as those words escape Lucio's mouth, we shift our gaze back to Dizzy. That calm, that peace shouldn't be possible considering how many years you spent on the road, how many nights, how many moments that are sheer unbelievable horror, how many situations that the unthinkable, the inhumane, the cruel, and the very real occasional monstrous moments that you've lived, and all the life that he's lived in the meantime. There should be no reason after all of these years, after all the time living completely apart, that calm should settle in. There shouldn't be that level of connection. Family or no, time is the very real thief of all ways. And yet, there's no doubt that seeing Dizzy was a catalyst.
Hey, so you fucked yourself up pretty good this time, huh?
He wheezes around the intubation tube. There's a stress that it puts on the body, having something not of it be in it. And there's only so long before that pain takes hold or causes him to slip back into unrestive sleep. Just from experiences, Dizzy is aware of at least that much and understands it. Yet there's a real active, a real live wish to be here with her. Even as much pain as you are sure that he's in, even with all the pain mitigating as much of it as possible. And looking down into his eyes, it is hard to deny that once connected, if truly connected, always connected. And while the struggling to move his hands towards the intubation tube has ceased, it's only now that Dizzy realizes that the reason why they've ceased, because she was holding his hand, and his larger hands now encompass purse. And tube or no tube, blocking his ability to really express himself. The soreness that comes. There's a falseness. That everyone uses in the best, but in the moment they will work out appreciation.
All right, she's not here. Two things. You need to get better. I'm going to help you. You need to let me know who's doing this to you, because I will put a stop to it. When you can speak, not now.
He nods his head. And in doing so, he tries to speak around the intubation tube. He tries to, despite the effort there,
Yeah, you can't talk with that in. You want to write it down?
he nods his head, yes, and absently pats where his breast pocket should be. It's clear that he usually keeps a pen or something else there, which is very old school, considering that, well, no one uses pen and paper anymore.
I'm sure there's got to be something handy.
Oh, there is. Taking the pad, with Northwestern emblazoned in the letterhead, and the pen is there by the phone.
So she'll grab that stuff and hand it to him.
And it takes him a second. It's almost as if he's seeing it for the first time. Fugue. He knows what it is, he knows what it should do, but somewhere along the line, the communication from one portion of him is not making it to the other. But finally he begins writing, and it's, for lack of a better word, it is a little rending of the heart as he is writing in his normal, neat, almost blocky script style. It's just a little shaky. There's a scrawl and a straying of the line. And when he's done, yes, it does look, in fact, like a piece of new wave abstract art, but it is just legible enough. And the name emblazoned therein, Walter Nash. Nash Fire Protection Services.
This is the guy that's doing this to you?
He shakes his head and tries to reach for the pad again.
Give him the hat again.
He writes Pont O Kant, and despite his shaky penmanship and the clear stress that was put on him by his minor cardiac event, Dizzy's able to clearly cipher out that what he's intending to say and what he's hoping to say is point of contact. The weakness in his system, the area, the screen door that the bad guys managed to get in.
So Nash knows who's doing this to you, but you don't.
And he shakes his head, yes.
All right, I will take care of it. You don't worry about it anymore. It will stop.
He tries shaking his head, yes, but instead it just falls against the pillow, and the real weight of what he's experienced and the real stress put on the body makes itself evident as his eyes heavily slam shut and his breathing goes back to a sinus rhythm. He is out of there.
Dizzy will stroke his hair for a minute. She'll go look out the door and see if Mom is about to come back.
Vivi and your mom are talking with the nurse, literally meaning that your mom is again doing her obsequious best to make a friend amongst the staff, because as she's taught you growing up, having an inside man is better than being the richest man in the world to get what you need.
Well, seeing that she has a moment, she will go back to Dale. She'll bite her thumb open and give him a drop or two of her blood.
Oh. The immediate jump in the monitoring devices that are reading his vitals nearly causes Dizzy to jump out of her skin, because they go from a low, not quite steady, chaotic rhythm to right on time, everything going off, everything moving exactly where it was. And it's not the fact that he's now just below normal, but within the safe range, but that it jumps so quickly from where he was to where he is. You hear feet rushing. You hear, "Oh my God," from your mother and Vivi. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And there is a maelstrom of activities because they alarm like no one's business. The sheer movement is enough to have all cylinders firing. The night staff come in with car. "You need to step away from the bed now. Move out. Get her out of here." And they immediately start to, before they realize that everything is safe, normal.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way. Like, I don't know what's going on, while I'm, licking my thumb shut.
As they're trying to figure out what the hell happened, how could that, what was, because they're at a loss. There's no way that should happen. There's no way that those alarms should have gone off, unless, of course, he was dropping below precipitous, or he was in shock, or they're not sure exactly. They're trying to diagnose as quickly as safely as possible without telling anyone exactly what's going on. Your mom is in the doorway. Vivi is literally bodily keeping her from being bowled over and knocked out of the way by all the emergency medical staff that are rushing in, trying to figure out what the alarms are for. It is a maelstrom of chaos and activity, a hornet's nest stirred by a few drops.
I will use this chaos as a cover to pocket the notes that he wrote, and I will kind of incoherently, just as confused as everyone else, go, "He was awake for a minute, then he was out, and then this happened." And
would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion? Because you are telling the truth of sorts. You're lying by omission, but you're being above board with it as best as possible. Do they take you as just a caring, unaware, paranoid family member, or are they interested? What did you do? What was happening? What took place? What? And easily. No. Too much of the well-learned habit of obfuscating intentions and aims, preying on others' suppositions. Dizzy's able to easily convince them that she is completely above board. There's nothing untoward. No, that rare stuff, don't worry about that. It's probably from him, blah, blah, blah. They don't think anything of it. And they're literally concerned about figuring out why the alarms went off. Why is he reading as nearly normal now? And Yeah, that's fine. That's great. Well, it happens from time to time. Look, one of the other nurses will take care of you. If you guys will step over there, there's a waiting room down the hall. Why don't you guys head there? We'll have him and everything taken care of in just a few moments. Just give us a little time, and we'll. VP looks from you to him to your mom, and sure thing. Miss Dizik, well, no, we take their advice. We can step down here, and you realize that in their rush, in their running back to the room, your mom dropped her cup of tea. And Vivi sat down her cup of coffee, and there's a few stains on the floor because the nurses did much the same. Bottles of water were knocked over.
All right, Mom, let's get out of the way. Let's get you another drink since that one's not usable anymore, obviously. He's going to be all right, I promise you.
You all move down the hall, and your mom is shaking her head. I don't want to scare you, but I can't. And she bites back her tongue, tries not to, but it's there. And whatever it is, it's right on her tongue. It's heavy enough that it's weighing her down. And she, unlike most, actually has a pocket full of coins in the actual vending machine. She rests her head against it, just tired.
I will massage her shoulders and just say it, just let it out.
You know, growing up, I always said we didn't have the money for doctors, and that wasn't a lie. So when you and your brothers and sister were roughhousing, I always said, we don't have money for doctors today, so be kind to each other. And while that is true, even now we really don't have money. The recovery time and your brother's job and everything that's going on with that. But the reason why I always said that, it was my way of making light of what happened with I haven't been able to be in a hospital since. And Dale is 6 years older than your father was when. Anyway, yeah, so that's the story behind that, and why don't they? What happened to all the coffee?
He's gonna be fine, Mom. He is, and don't worry about the money. We'll figure something out. I'll take care of it.
Of course, Em. I know, Em. Where did the coffee go? She's standing in front of the vending machine. She's standing in front of the ends and chips. And I just want a cup of coffee. Why don't they? Miss Dizik, you told me you didn't like coffee. No, I don't. Tea. Where's? And Vivi, when they came back into this area, immediately moved to the decanter provided by the hospital of hot water and the little Keurig that she's standing in front of. And it had already started pouring your mother hot water for her tea, removing the little lemon zinger from the offered selection of free teas. Your mother is staring and has been staring at the vending machine. She's already put in about $2 worth of coins, and she's looking. Tea.
We got your tea over here. Don't put any more money in there.
Then they must have moved it. It's so hard. All these machines look so much alike these days.
They do, yep.
She takes the tea from. Takes a sip. Oh, this is sweet. I thank you so much, Viviana. Oh, don't worry about it. So, how long? You were telling me how long you and M have hung out and been friends. Oh yes, I recently left my job, and with M being between jobs, it just works out. We get more time to hang out and get to know each other. So it's not really the time we know each other, it's the closeness, I think, that makes it very special. That's so nice. And you can go ahead and tell me now that she's here. What about her boyfriend? Oh, we never talk about such things. We have a pure and Christian love. Your mother looks from her to you.
Dizzy will just kind of blink a couple times and shrug.
Well, whatever the state of your roommateship is not my concern. As long as you two are both happy. I do wish that you all, perhaps would dress a little bit better. You guys are very nice looking girls. You shouldn't hide yourselves in potato sacks. Spend a little money, splurge a little bit. You can't take it with you.
So, what's going on with you that you're not telling me?
What do you mean? I'm just a little tired.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
I'm just really tired. I know you think that I'm, fabulously young and that we can almost be sisters, but you gotta remember, I was a grown-up before you were even thought of. I'm just tired. I really, really am. And things add up more than they used to. Just wait till you're my age.
I'll never be your age.
That's what I used to think when my mom said the same. But time doesn't stop for anybody. And soon, despite all the great genes you have looking as young as you do, you'll be my age and your bones will creak and your muscles will ache, my dear. And as much as I would keep it from you if I could, it is a natural affair, it's a natural state of thing.
I'm sure it does, but you know that I'm stubborn enough to stop time, so.
Yeah, if anybody could, I think it would be either you or Dale. Jody already looks as if she's twice my age, so you're our only hope. You and Dale are not get old. Fortunately, it's already started working on Dale, so sooner or later those white hairs will be gray.
That's why they make hair dye.
So Vivi was telling me that you two met through a church group. Miss Disick,
Is that how we met?
Unfortunately, factually, that is actually true.
I guess you have a point. There's an angle there.
Oh, there's some discrepancies? Really? Go ahead, tell me, how did you meet this lovely Viviana?
Oh, I'm sure she already told you. Whatever she said is fine.
Now, don't go playing bashful. How did you two lovely young ladies form your friendship?
We kind of just bumped into each other on the street, and one thing led to another.
That doesn't sound very Christian. Although, I suppose it does. You know, I really didn't bother to learn many of the sermons when I drug you all to church. It was more just so that I'd have the 25 minutes of relative peace without you killing each other.
Yeah, we kind of sucked, didn't we? But yeah, Vivi was working for, I guess, kind of a community outreach program. Would you say, Vivi?
Oh, that's exactly what it was. It was more of a midnight non-soup kitchen. And, well, being the bad girls that we were, and so in love with tobacco and nicotine, we shared a few long, quiet smoke breaks together, and it was the absolute best thing. It gives us an opportunity to talk about our love for Christ, our connection to family, and our outlook on being a good Samaritan. Yes, that too. That is so weird, but I'd expect nothing less from you, Em. And Viviana, your mother, your family, you were saying that you have a really large family? Yes, Mr. I do have a lot. You know what, it would be nice, because we were always that family on the block. We were always, it'd be nice to have once Dale gets out of here, and I'm sure there's going to be therapy. Once we get through that, do a family get together. I've always wanted a real nice big family get together, like a Thanksgiving or an after church Sunday dinner that didn't involve KFC. We missed out on so much with Tizzy's father. But we need to get together. A good big family get together, and the silence becomes deafening. It is clear that your mother's thinking of something. It's clear that her mind is searching for something. But it's not that pause. It's not a stutter step pause. It's not that the mind cycling up or choosing which words to say. Her mind is working. Her eyes are looking at whatever it is that's going on just inside her eyelids. But that pause, Vivi looks at you and then back to you and lowers her voice. Chica, this is the third time she's done.
I sigh and nod at her.
And so, yeah, we should plan that for when Dale gets out of here and gets therapy. That would be really, really nice. A good big get together, like something out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Or, and I know this seems silly, but I know this was a little bit before M's time, because they would never sit still and watch any of the cartoons that I put on for them. But like Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, where everyone sat at the huge long picnic table, and they said grace, and there was singing and dancing. We should do something like that. That'd be nice. I don't get many friends at my age. Everyone either wants to talk about the the bands that not everyone saw, the parties not everyone went to, or in my case, I was busy with these knuckleheads and they kept me more than busy enough, not that I had the money to spare anyway.
We'll figure out something. Don't worry. Let's just get old Dale back on his feet.
Yes, let's get back to normal. And as your mom says, that we shift our gaze to Hestia. Stepping out of the cab, despite Walter initially saying you all but walk, and his quietness in cab, you were expecting something sordid, something dark, something clearly criminal. And instead, you are standing outside of a 4-story building. It is dark brick and as old as most of the bridges along the river. This building is one of the good old-fashioned few who were just outside of the Chicago fire damage that tore the city to shreds, upon which most of the city that where you stand now is built upon. And for lack of a better word, yes, Chicago is in fact a city of the dead. It is built upon the bones of its previous existence, not once, twice. This building, however, one of those older buildings that somehow either managed to survive the fire or was refurbished and rebuilt quickly enough that it wasn't in fact torn down. That was the Chicago way. Anything damaged, tear it down. That's the reason why you have the technological advances of their time, the raised buildings, the frame homes that instead of, being built at 2 stories or 3 stories or more, were raised and the lower levels were built underneath them. The grandmother cottages built over garages or built just behind the house. Well, this is one of those such buildings, a Chicago mistake that became normal. This building was clearly meant for other things, probably a stable or some such. The framework is still there underneath brick. And the name on the outside of the building is Watts, Ballard, and Disick Accounting.
They often say people get a feeling, that whole somebody walked over your grave feeling. You get a chill down your back. Yeah, there's that happening, and it tries very hard to keep a straight face and not face palm and go, what the absolute fuck.
I know what you're thinking, love. I could have gotten one of those fancy boys downtown, but this place is small. It's easy. At least I thought it was easy. I've tried breaking in here 3 times before, and I still can't exactly do it. I know how to burn buildings down, not necessarily sneak past their locks.
Well, you tried to what?
I tried to break in.
Why?
Because all of my trouble started when I looked around and I found these guys and the $3 to hand out my books and make it look as if I'm a good upstanding member of the business community. So I came here to try to steal my records back, and well, wouldn't you know it? And then he takes a step back and guides Hestia's gaze to the corner of the building. That there is what they call a camera, and it is ridiculous the amount of security this place has. There are cameras on the roof, cameras at each corner of the building. I even tried sneaking in through the basement, through the sewer rats there. Do you know that they have the tunnels that runs underneath completely bricked over? So, I'm hoping, I was hoping that big dark fellow of yours would have been here to give a hand. Maybe call a distraction. Then we just break the back door and... But without that, I'm open for suggestions in regards to how we're going to get inside and get all information to find out how they connect with the blackmailers.
Okay. Well, give me a minute. I'm thinking here.
Oh, fuck's sake. And he throws his arm around you. And the wind will blow from the south to the north and back to the south. Down the block there is a blue and white.
Oh, great. So she, hating it though she does, leans into him like they're just a little bit of a drunk couple walking past the building and not casing the joint. But she is thinking as quickly as she can as to how best to do this.
Would you be so kind as to go ahead and while you're thinking, your focus is slightly split, would you be so kind as to go ahead and wits and larceny? How will you evade multi-layered security of...
Too bad it's not awareness because I have a specialty in puzzles, but... Well, yeah, hold on. 5. It's not bad.
It is not entirely bad. And as Hestia working on keeping the mask of human inebriation up and convincing the officers that there is nothing to see here, it's just she realizes there's one commonality in all of the multi-layers of security she's able to pick up. One, she associated with both Whispers and Alex far too much because it was normally and is still not normally in her wheelhouse to evade and sneak past security systems. Not something a good upstanding member of academia would ever truly consider. Yet she has boots on the ground experience of doing just that in far more dangerous situations. However, with the amount of security that she sees, there is one commonality, and that is whichever partners, owners, proprietors responsible for the security design for this building, there is an extreme paranoia. There is an extreme need to protect oneself from God knows whom else. And there's another thing that she notices that she's sure Walter hasn't, based on his description of the camera, more in tone and surprise. Most of the security that she sees is new. These are recent additions. And the police roll on their way. The actual person in the shotgun seat waving a hand out the window as they pass.
So as not to catch attention, she just definitely gives like a half-ass drunk wave back, the smile, but nothing that would be like overly like come talk to me, because you don't want that. Once they are probably out of earshot, she's going to lean up to him like she's like whispering dirty things into his ear. The cameras are new. They haven't been here long, so I'm going to need to figure out, and you're going to need to tell me what you think happened recently that would have them putting up cameras.
Isn't that what everyone's doing now these days? I told you.
No.
My phone was whatever it was, and then I got rid of my phone, and then I decided to withdraw from public scrutiny. There's the reason why I was coming back here to begin with and try to get the information back from him. But
This is a level of paranoia that I have not seen in a while. I don't even have this many cameras at the shelter. I probably should though, but not this level. This is scared. Something has them scared. And I don't think it's you. As scary as you think you are, I don't think it's you.
oh, love, I've never said that I'm scary. I'm just dangerous. There's a difference between the two. I don't want you going running from me. I want you to draw closer. That's the reason why this is how I get what I get. All of the good, lovely friends and associates that I make along the way, not because I'm dangerous, not because I'm scary.
Adorable. No, but I'm serious. They got spooked somehow, and we need to figure out what spooked them and why they put all these cameras here. Because whatever it is could be a problem for you later.
Oh, it's already a bloody well problem now.
I know it is now, but a bigger problem. Because whatever caused them to put this much cameras up is I don't see humans getting spooked like this normally. So something's up. Something happened. Give me a minute. She's gonna text Lucio just on the odd chance that maybe he can get to the phone and text, hey, so I'm with Walter and I need to know how to break into a building with a lot of cameras. Any tips? And then send it.
Okay, so as you go ahead and text that out in the in-character message, as you're texting, Walter's looking at the building. You know, one thing that I didn't try, perhaps maybe if we go up there, and he points, and there's a 7-story building on the opposite side of the other 2 buildings. Maybe if one of us toss the other one down, we can make the distance from there to there. It's a daring high flyer maneuver, but it's definitely a 2-person job, if you know what I mean.
You wanna what?
Oh, it's not much of in the grand scheme of things, it's not much of a plan, but it's definitely more of a plan than not.
Okay, so in the examining of the cameras and stuff, did Hestia pick up any blind spots, like where the cameras don't quite overlap, or yeah, like, you know, I know they're fairly heavy with cameras, but like, say like if she was to walk up the wall, which she can do, like a path that would be out of the range of camera.
Yes, she can walk up the wall, and in doing so, she would reveal to the public that either Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe is real, or that creatures such as her actually exist. Recorded for posterity. Hopefully their databases of recording information is actually inside the building, and hopefully they're not smart enough to have off-site recording and storage.
All you would have had to say was no, they cover everything. That's all I wanted. You're gonna be outing me, talking about Spider-Man. I get it, okay? You can't climb up the building. But, alright, I guess we're stuck with Walter's stupid idea of going to the other building, and it's such a bad idea. Yep, no. Whatever. Let's go.
All right, love. Now, I know I'm quite strong for my size, but just curious. Are you do you have the super strength? I just want to make sure that maybe I should be the one throwing you, or maybe you should be the one throwing me.
I'm probably more aerodynamic than you are, so I'm thinking you should be throwing. Why am I agreeing to this? I have no fucking clue, but okay.
I don't know about you being more aerodynamic. I'm more of a chain shot. I'm designed to wrap around the mass and drag it low, and you're more of a well-formed cannonball. You're short and you're dark.
Keep talking, and I will.
I don't mean anything by it. I've always loved the brown sugar. And the song from Jagger, I helped inspire a good portion of that. It's one of my many weaknesses. I could never turn down rum during days, and well, as close to rum as I got in my own dad days would be such as yourself. Lasses by the masses, I suppose is the best way to say it. But not that I'm much the same way these days. I do save portions of my true self for those that actually have some bit of specialness about them. A bit of something to connect with. Some bit of the wildness that I lost was brought into this mess of a life.
She's already walking away from him, heading towards the building. She's like, done with the bullshit. She's walking towards where he was pointing earlier, and to try to figure this whole situation out.
So as you all walk down and around the corner, because of Hestia's background, normally you would not receive a because of you missing your goal by 2. However, because of Hestia's background, her experiences, and the things that are very much on her sheet that I'm not sure you remember, would you be so kind as to roll wit and subterfuge, or wits and stealth, whichever.
You got me looking at my sheet, but it's about the same. Wits and subterfuge and wits and stealth is the same, so. All right, so if you look there on Hestia's sheet, you
cast Sight 20. What that means is that in her past and her recent past, as far as things go, in the last 2 decades, several times over that period, she has run afoul of secretive and hidden organizations that operate in the area and have been operating in the area collecting data. It fostered a paranoia in her, as well as in her Mala Myers, and all of the car exchanges and all of the dead drops and all of the meeting and out of the way places that were difficult to get to and even more difficult to watch without being seen. That those instances and those run-ins with those dark nebulous organizations that you can't prove exist, but you can't prove are not looking for you or for people like you, set into a pattern of behavior that had persisted until Hestia moved on more into the social sphere, the kindred of Chicago. Those experiences, however, those survivor skills bred through very real, factual, inciting incidents, not just mindless, tinfoil hatted paranoia, keep Hestia in a state of wariness that most people wouldn't truly understand, even amongst her peers who are always looking over their shoulder, who are always watching their tracks. In Lucio's case, it's because of his avocation. In Dizzy's case, it's because they have traveled so far and so wide and been involved in so many different circles. And the one rule that is the byword of such an existence is, if you walk into a room and you don't know who them is, guess what? It's you. For Hestia, it's a little more niche. It's a little more apropos in this situation. She and Walter make their way sideways around, heading back across the alley towards the taller condominium building. She spots it, that telltale way, like clearly someone was focused on her and looked away and seemed innocent. It'd be crazy to approach them, but Hestia knows what she saw. Hestia knows that feeling. Hestia knows those behaviors, and it sets every alarm bell off in her head. If she was very much alive, the hairs on her arms would be standing on end, the nape of her neck would be tingling, and there'd be a low, chilling ring in her ear. That feeling that, oh shit, there's trouble. Oh shit, there's trouble.
It makes her pull up short. She's like, okay, something's wrong here. And looking at Walter, you know, I have a really bad feeling about all of this.
It's not that far, love. It's just a difference of...
She pulls him down like she's going to kiss him.
Well, that's a bit ranty, don't you think?
In his ear, what she just saw. Don't give yourself away, but we're being watched. And they are also watching the building.
You can't be paranoid all your life. I know these folks seem like they're everywhere, but I stopped. Wait, do you have a phone on you?
I do have my phone on me, thank you.
That's how they fucking track you. It's got cameras and space satellites connection, and it is just the fucking devil. And you don't believe me? You didn't believe me when I told you and your friend that that's a bad idea. That's how they're tracking you. They don't need a person on the street. They give them all the information they need. Even now, I bet your microphone's open.
is why I was whispering. She reaches into her pocket, checking to see if Lucio had responded at all, and if not, she's going to take the battery out of her phone.
Looking there, she does see that Lucio has in fact. It's always a little bit like Christmas when your texts go immediately. His phone, much like teenagers, has a mind of its own and responds when it chooses. It needs to, not when it actually you want it to. But it responds when it chooses. And some things make it through and are understood, and other things just get lost. Hey, Lucio's phone, where did that message go? I don't know. I didn't see it. Oh, you mean these messages?
My phone has a mind of its own. I've accepted this fact. My communication with the outside world is solely through its whims.
Yes, and what whims they are. Conveniently stalling, interjecting, misarranging, sometimes completely forgetting. Much like the text from Faye that Lucio did not in fact receive. Or the mini from Arsenio that he received far later that reached out to contact him. But all the same, having received Lucio's text and that feeling of elation that the text response came so quickly, does she remove the battery that she's in the section?
We're already in the process of... I mean, he's got a point, so what he said is true. Shouldn't be talking about it over text. She had a moment of stupid. So, social engineering is confusing to her as to what that would actually mean. But then, yeah, she's going to remove the battery for the moment. Very much pointedly show Walter that she's removed the battery and puts them in separate pockets.
Well, since this is a
current problem.
Sure it does. You know who these fellas are, lassies who are hounding our steps and keeping watch as if they're the specters of death. That's fine. But they don't know that we know, or more specifically that you. Let's lead them on a merry chase. Let's head down to the metro. We can get lost in their little backspaces and slip out without anyone being in the wiser. Or better yet, there's a bar not far from here. It is Mother Goose's. We can go there. And while we can't sneak out the back, we can't sneak upstairs and hop from the balcony. And no one will be any the wiser. Let's lead them on a chase. Let's make them work for their daily bread.
It's strange that you know where all the bars are, but okay, fine, let's go.
It's not that strange, love. Why don't you know where all the bars are? You're getting your sustenance. Don't tell me you're one of those rippers feeding on the homeless or worse.
I run a homeless shelter, you dingbat.
So you feed on you. People you're supposed to be helping.
No, I do not. I keep them safe. Oh, oh my gosh.
So now you have to tell me, how are you running a homeless shelter but you don't near elite? What sort of sustenance are you taking into yourself? And don't tell me you're one of those filthy baggers. drinking and stealing blood from those that need it.
No, I'm a flirt, and it works, okay?
Okay, but who are you flirting with? Don't tell me you're using dating profiles, muddying the waters, leaving a trail that's tracked down.
What? Who does that? That's weird.
It's not weird. There's a whole community of us who just that. They trade tips and tricks and often trade herd amongst themselves. There was one feller not too long ago who, well, I don't know exactly what happened, but there were rewards for finding folks that he'd associated with and who else they'd associated with. They're trying to find his feeding pool. What is that feller's name? Modius, whatever his name. Across the border.
She knows who he's talking about, but at the same time, it's like, oh no. Modius?
Yes, that one there. He was looking for women of roughly about your height. Well, give or take a few inches, but your complexion, beautiful dark-skinned women with clearly defined either African American or African features. The reward is still valid, at least as far as then. And I occasionally, take a look and see if I can find anything. Because, who would be a fool to turn down free booty?
You're not funny.
Wait, what joke are you making? Booty as in treasure.
You're ridiculous. I've come to this conclusion that you're entirely ridiculous. So you're trying to tell me this whole pirate thing that you do is really, you were really a pirate?
Of
Johnny Depp? Captain Jack Sparrow?
No, I wasn't a comic book character, nor one of these new superheroes that you all watch on TV. I was a real thing. We were privateers. We held to a code of freedom, and we held it by every means that we could. Every person pulled their weight. Every man by their weight. Every woman by their weight pulled their share.
But did you ever run into a monkey holding keys and have to put back gold in case you were cursed?
The only curse that came my way was the curse of being killed. Watching my crew be slaughtered. The only curse that I have now was that you, modern folks, you, blessed with immortality, look down on anything except for what you believe is right. You take on airs, and you say you want freedom, but all you really want is someone to tell you how much is not yours, so that you can rail against them. Oh, it's not fair that my choices have led me astray. That's never fair. There's nothing fair about this life or the life that we left behind. And yeah, that's all I fucking hear. Oh, it's not fair. Oh, it's not fair. It's not right. I may make mistakes or perhaps drink a little much, but I've never blamed anyone but myself for the condition and my state of affairs. Everyone blaming someone else. Oh, if they didn't do this, then I wouldn't have to do that. Or if they didn't do this, or if they only saw things my way. No one has to see things your way. No one has to do anything to make you happy. You've got to hold on to it with two hands, and you've got to chase it. Damn everyone else's perceptions. Damn everyone's condemnation. Oh, you're not smart enough. You're not slick enough. Oh, you don't meet my qualifications. That's just wrong. There's no just wrong or right. The only thing that's wrong is not living to the best of your potential, whatever that may be. What's wrong is judging someone else's potential instead of focusing on yourself. Taking on airs and making light of someone's life. Devaluing their very being. Fuck off. With that, he starts storming away from me.
by keeping her composure. Waiting him to be good and out of range, and starts heading back towards, not the building, more back towards where she could get to her car. And in the course of doing so, puts the battery back in the phone and keeps an eye out for those people that she felt like were following.
Oh, they definitely are. And while they're smart enough to keep a distance, unfortunately, the paranoia that has every grounding in reality, many near misses and escapes that Hestia has been privy to and engineered, has taught her several interesting things. When one feels they are being drive like an asshole, draw as much attention to oneself as possible, that those who cling to the shadows, those who seek to stay out of sight, automatically draw notice to themselves. There's no person worth their salt, no Chicagoan who has an idea of what being a Chicagoan is would not respond to someone asshole. And so, as she hears from the driver's seat, "Hey, watch where the fuck you going?" Several times, several horns honked to annoyance, several people immediately getting on their phone, several, which causes those following to further away, because people take people this day and age immediately reach for that surveillance device in the pocket. They immediately begin seeking to take a picture or to record or to otherwise further the natural net of surveillance gathering and monitoring. And where is Hestia driving to?
She's worried about the whole thing with Melinda bringing somebody back to Faye's place and wondering what happened with Dizzy, but it's mostly she's worried about the whole Melinda bringing somebody back, because who does Melinda know in the city besides people from the Chantry, and that bothers her. Because she doesn't particularly trust everybody in the Chantry right now, obviously.
Okay. So Hestia's driving back in part of the kindred party scene. The institution that is, in fact, and as Hestia draws closer to the area, the immediate uptick in the value of the property around her, the care and infrastructure in place become all the more obvious. Because while that building she just left is, in fact, old Chicago, should quantify as a landmark, it is most assuredly not. Otherwise, the cameras, the surveillance, new glass, and would not be there. However, as she nears the area near and occupant, that uptick in care and maintenance and infrastructure, signifying what most tourists and guests in the city believe is Chicago, becomes all the apparent. Everything becomes newer and shiny. Everything becomes cleaner. The area goes from a nice, quaint family neighborhood to what the realtors should never say, and is code for so many that are social and economic. The area becomes walkable. And as those realizations hit Hestia, caught in the midst of everything, the swirl of everything that has been happening in the last few days and months and over the course of the last year, we shift our gaze to Lucio. With the bureaucrats and agents out of the building, and Novak having explained himself and his plan of plans, and Spot still having that I had a bad feeling about this vibe over his face. What is Lucio's plan? What is he attempting to do? Is he going to dive in, especially being as his foe has decided to operate with some speed and alacrity? The message from Hestia comes through. His response fired off.
Having received that message, he definitely knows something is going down that he needs to help with. But before he does go, he's gonna have a moment to talk with Spots.
Yeah, man, hey, you want to step out for a smoke? Hey, old man, we'll be out front. And Spot gets up and moves to the front. And unfortunately, unlike most people who use smoke to signify a cigarette, a cigar, or a vape, he literally means a smoke. And as you are not even completely out the door, he's already halfway rolled a very nice bit of smoke that would definitely make sure that he couldn't pass any drug tests. Man, I tell you, the old man is going crazy. All he sees is dollar sign. Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Give me your honest thoughts. Uncensored.
That shit with your boy Elijah almost closed the firm. I don't know what you and him got involved in. Your sisters got involved in, because let's be honest, Faye is just as much your sister as Stella is. I'm surprised you guys don't have pictures of you all taking baths together. He's trying to save the firm. We have enough money to get by, but not as much money to be fully operational. That's the reason why you notice he's been spending more and more time with Gertrude, hoping that she takes sick so he can get access to her insurance money. Not that he doesn't love her, but the old man is always working some aim. And I'm joking. He's not really after her insurance money. She didn't have as much as Geraldine. But anyway, this is bad. This is real bad. Those cases don't make sense. They keep saying unsub. That means that they have a profile put together. But how can you have a profile for someone who doesn't have a profile? That was a lie. They've been lying to us for the last 26 hours. And the old man is eating it up because he knows it's a lie. So he doesn't care. He's not going to challenge him like you did. You got more truth out of them in 15 minutes than he's had for the last 3 days.
The difference is I care.
He cares too in his way, but he's more concerned about keeping us afloat.
To his credit as the business owner, that is his responsibility. To our credit, we don't have to like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. It don't add up. Since when do they send an accountant, a field agent, a department manager? And I swear that other one, she was the stenographer. She was keeping notes on her phone. That texting she was doing wasn't real texting. She never hit send. She never sent the information anywhere. She was keeping notes of the interactions, of how Novak responded, of how I responded, and I'm sure you threw her to fuck off. The fix is in, man. The fix is in. I bet we're not the only ones getting this case. Bet. No, I know we can't be. Doesn't make any sense. If there's a spree killer in the area who has no victim profile, it wouldn't be an unsub. If they're victims that they are provably aware of are so different, they wouldn't be attributing it to the same person. It's like they're looking for a class of citizen, kind of like the voting law. They know that they know that most of the immigrants didn't have grandfathers here who could vote, so they automatically excluded almost all of them by saying your grandfather had to have been able to vote, and you had to be able to prove it. So it's like you're targeting a group of people without targeting a group of people.
My guess is they're hoping that we end up pinning the crime on someone else, someone unrelated. Did you notice what they said about the whole red tape thing? How they couldn't get other people to work on this? I have a feeling someone has an interest in keeping this killer hidden.
Way to make the bad feeling worse, man. Way to make the bad feeling. I know the world is shit, right? That just makes everything all the worse. They're supposed to be protecting the public, and you want to make it worse, or worse yet, put it on some innocent guy. The weird, quiet neighbor. Oh, he was quiet. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
I don't intend to.
He kept to himself.
I intend to have this all blow up in their face and find out exactly who or what is doing this.
What do you mean, what?
By what, I mean if it's a group of people. Like some organization or something. This is more institutional than what they were leading us to believe.
I do not like the sound of that. But another thing, and it's not related to that. Who the fuck are you letting use the cameras and the mics?
Wait, are you able to see all that?
Yeah. Every camera is a two-way portal. It's like once you open that link for planting that camera or those little mics, so is there something you want to tell me?
Yeah. I let Faye borrow them.
Really?
Look, they were gonna do something stupid, and I decided if they were gonna do it stupid, they were gonna do it right.
So they were going to do something stupid, and you gave them superpowers to do even more stupid stuff.
They were going to go basically barge in headfirst into, from what they told me, a police headquarters. I could not stop them. You know how Stella is. So I gave them something hoping that they would at least not put themselves in a direct path to danger.
No, you just put us in direct danger. Dude, I fucking know too much. Do you know that you're... What do you know about Benjamin Gaiman?
Not as much as I should.
No, that's kind of a good thing. That means that Elijah is not as dirty as I was hoping. At least we'd be able to get some money out of him.
What do you know?
I know where at least one body is.
What?
They bugged the head of internal affairs girlfriend's car. They bugged 3 nightclubs that I can tell from the vision or the video, or either a rave. They bugged a butcher shop. And I don't know whether it's just dumb luck or they're just getting involved with people who actually are really good at their fucking job. And the job for that butcher shop is providing a safe way to dispose of enemies. It's a chop shop for people. The sort that, the Castiglione and Tories operate out of. The sort that the Acampos operate out of. The sort that the Millers operate out of. And that fucking Scottish gang, which makes no sense. We're in the fucking Midwest. Why would you have a Scottish gang? Oh my God, people are so fucking stupid. They have spread the cameras like dandelion pollen, and it's sticking to all the wrong people. Eventually someone's going to do a sweep and they're going to find either the mic or the camera. Both. And my whole intro to this portion of our conversation about it being 2 ways, it's going to track back to wherever they're saving the information. Dumb enough to be saving it on a laptop in their bedroom.
Then maybe we should find it first before someone else does.
Why do you think I was watching the feed? To see why the cameras were spread out all over the near south suburbs, the western suburbs, the Loop, and that fucking freaky tattoo parlor down in Old Town.
Okay, Spots, I'm gonna need you to do me a huge favor. All of this information that you found out, I want it. A hard copy of it. Not sent digitally so that someone can intercept it. Like you said, it's a 2-way street out there. So if I just have a hard copy of it, that's at least a little more secure.
So that's gonna kiss me right here.
Second thing I need you to do is track the locations of all of these devices. Tell me where they are, and we need to figure out a way to get them back. The third thing I need you to do, because this might be related, and Lucio is going to... Actually, out of character, does Lucio have the video of that Eddie filmed of the succubus saved anywhere?
No, he didn't have time to save it before he shook loose.
Okay. So Spots, there's a video of a particular event that I need you to look into. I need you to try and find the phone that the video might be saved to or originated from. Because I think maybe that has something to do with all of this.
You owe me for this, man.
I owe you a lot, I know.
You better get out of here before Novak convinces you to, I don't know, tag him in and out with Gertrude and Geraldine. He's so fucking happy.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we'll talk later. Just keep me up to date, okay?
Yeah, I'll tell him you went to church. Midnight mass.
Thanks.
And as Lucio heads where?
He's gonna send a quick text to Hestia that just says, "Where are you now?" And he will try to help her with whatever the hell's going on.
When it rains, it pours. And the understanding that Lucio didn't quite put everything together from the party that he was in. He knew they were dangerous people, but they were clearly selling information or using information to help people thought were less dangerous, proving innocent, proving them connected, and all the while, there's so much more potential danger heading in their direction. So much more powerfully or temporally powerful individuals who could seek retribution for them snooping. And unlike the cartoon you grew up with, but I got away with it too if it hadn't been for those pesky kids. These people shoot back. These people lay their own traps. These people make people disappear. Luckily for them, luckily for you, you have access to Hestia, who traveled in and, based on the information you have, still travels loose around those same people. That's how he arms himself up. That's how he calls in favors. No. So where is Lucio? And his phone has decided to not fritz out.
So if he got the message from Hestia, then he's gonna head to Faye and Stella's place.
Alright, sounds like a plan. So Lucio has your head towards Lucio's little sister's place, the condominium that is outfitted like a palace, which is in the heart of the downtown area, just directly across the street from the center of the Kindred community. Dizzy, same thing with your mom and Vivi. She doesn't want to look at her phone, didn't even really think about it. But as it goes off several times back to back, you are still very much part of it. Group messaging, and knowing that Dale most assuredly survived it, most assuredly attained some vitality. The present concern is your mom, too, but that's not something that she can act on now. So as your mom sips and entertaining Vivi with a tale of how Dale got that very thin scar just under his left eye, Dizzy checks her phone, sees the messages exchanged back.
All right. She'll send a very brief text, which will be WTF are you up to?
And as the cursor dances behind the two, and the considerations are weighed and measured, draw to a close with a gathering of forces, Faye and Stella's once more. The last time that everyone convened at Faye and Stella's, it was a hell of a party. Last time everyone made it to Faye and Stella, there was a body left in there. As it stands now, with everyone where they are, mentally, emotionally, and ciphering through the mysteries that are circling around the coterie, good chance it'll be just Abe. And with that, we draw to a close. I want to thank you lovely session. And I look forward to our next episode. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Night all.